Hello everyone, I hope all of you are doing really hard work with all our attending lectures. Today I am going to continue the same topic as all of you know, that is the topic of Parliament of India. So don't waste the time and let's start. See, it is our today topic, that is Parliament of India. Okay, so let's go deep inside it and we will see some important parts of that topic. So students, I have already told you about what is quorum. The lecture before yesterday, okay, during that lecture I have covered what is quorum. 1/10. Have you remembered it, that I have told you that 1/10 minimum requirement. So quorum is, I am just giving you an example. I have also given the same example in that session, that is the day before yesterday's lecture. See, suppose if in a 10th class standard, if the class 10th class is going on and 10 students assume present in it, okay, and today there is a meeting of all the 10 students to take any important decision, okay. So if only 3 students present on that day and those 3 students take that decision, okay, after meeting, then is that decision is really comprehensive decision? Not at all, because almost more than 50% of students don't participate in that decision. Okay, so if there is a fixed date, only when out of the 10 students, only when minimum, either it is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, anything as depend on the situation. If assume that if it was earlier said that if only when minimum 5 students will present, then only this meeting will start, otherwise this meeting will suspend today, or when the minimum 5 students will present, only when we will start this meeting and we will take any decision. That is the quorum, that is minimum requirement to start the procedure of any matter on any matter. That is the same thing behind the parliamentary functioning system in India. It means, as all of you know that there are 2 houses in India, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So see here clearly, it is 552 seats in Lok Sabha, as all of you know, but right now it is 543, that's why it's 272 plus only requirement, that is 273 seats minimum requirement to form the government. Now let's see, the proceedings of Lok Sabha will start only when minimum 1/10 members of the total strength of the house will be present. So it is not 56, it is 55, okay, it is 55, fine, it is only 55. If there is less than 55 members of parliament of Lok Sabha present, now understand it clearly, if only suppose if 54 member of parliament of Lok Sabha are present in the house of Lok Sabha, then can the proceedings of Lok Sabha can be initiated or started? Not at all, because it is less than 1/10, it is not fulfilling the process of quorum of house of Lok Sabha. So if only when minimum 55 member of parliament of Lok Sabha will be present in the house of Lok Sabha, then only a speaker will start the proceedings of the house, otherwise a speaker will adjourn the house for any specific period of time, either 1 hour, 2 hour, 1 day, 2 day, anything, or either a speaker will suspend the house for few days, or even for 1 day. Only when minimum 55 member of parliament will present in the house of Lok Sabha, then only the proceedings of Lok Sabha will be initiated, otherwise not at all. Situation is same for Rajya Sabha, okay. Here also 1/10 members must be present. Just remember that here is requirement is 25 members of parliament, okay. 25 members of parliament minimum requirement should be present in the house of Rajya Sabha to initiate the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha. Otherwise, if less than 25, minimum 25 requirement, if 25, here 25 present, had 55%, then started. But don't confuse in it that suppose assume a situation where 55 minimum 55 MPs present in Lok Sabha, okay, and here 24 MPs present in Rajya Sabha. Here in Lok Sabha minimum 55 MPs present, minimum it is present, okay, assume a situation, and in Rajya Sabha on the same day only 24 MPs present. Then will the proceedings of Rajya Sabha will take place? Not at all, because it is not fulfilling the 25th membership of Parliament of Rajya Sabha. But will it affect, will this not fulfilling the quorum will affect the proceedings of Lok Sabha or not? Not at all. Okay, each house is separate. Each house is separate in itself. So the quorum of Lok Sabha will affect only the house of Lok Sabha, and the quorum of Rajya Sabha will affect only Rajya Sabha. Fine. So it is an individual situation. You can't mix both of them in one angle. Okay. So here it is minimum 55 MPs for Lok Sabha. Here it is minimum 25 member of Parliament for Rajya Sabha. Fine. This is the same one, and it is clearly told in Article 100. As you can see that it is clearly told in Article 100 of the Constitution of India that minimum 1/10 members of Parliament should be present of the total strength of the house. House means both the houses. Whenever I will say house, only house, then you will understand both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So Article 100 of the Constitution of India clearly said that proceedings of the house will start only when there is minimum 1/10 members of Parliament will present of the total strength of the houses. Fine. So it is written the same thing that minimum 1/10 of this strength of the house. I hope all of you are getting it properly. So I am moving to the next one. Okay. I have told you yesterday that under which circumstances any bill will lapse or any bill will not be lapse whenever dissolution of Lok Sabha happened. Okay, fine. So let's see voting in house. How? See, bill is presented in house. Either it will be firstly present in Lok Sabha or either it may be present in Rajya Sabha too. But whenever it is money bill, remember I am just telling you yourself, otherwise I will cover also in upcoming session that whenever we will talk about money bill, then money bill can be presented first time only in Lok Sabha. After presenting money bill in Lok Sabha, only then you can send it to Rajya Sabha. You cannot first time present money bill in Rajya Sabha. Okay. But beside that, almost all bills can be presented in both the houses. First time. Okay, in first attempt, any bill can be presented in both the houses. Something exceptional that I will cover in next slide, or it may be possible that I will cover in next few sessions. So let's see. Bill will be presented in Lok Sabha. So, or even in Rajya Sabha. So what is the process? What happens? Here in finishing time, here is voting. Voting will be done. Voting will be done. But before that, what is the happens? What is the total procedures? That I will tell you right now. But our focus will be about voting. How votings happen? Voting will be done in both the houses. Let's see. Voting right of presiding officer of the house. Presiding officer of the house means for Lok Sabha it is a speaker, and for Rajya Sabha it is chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Fine. It is chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So let's see. Let's see it clearly. Whenever voting will happen, then see here, whenever voting will happen on any bill, then can presiding officer can vote or not on that bill. Presiding officer means a speaker for Lok Sabha and chairman for Rajya Sabha. A speaker for Lok Sabha and chairman for Rajya Sabha. Now hear it clearly. Okay, be attentive. Whenever there will be voting on any bill either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, presiding officer will not be able to vote on that bill. Not at all. both of the presiding officer, that is chairman of Rajya Sabha and the speaker of Lok Sabha, will be able to vote only when there will be a tie in voting in first time. I have repeated it again and again 2 to 3 times. Okay, I am repeating the same things because the whole procedure in politicization will be circulated, okay, in any other session. Fine. So presiding officer of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, that is for Lok Sabha it is a speaker, for Rajya Sabha it is chairman. Both of them will not be able to participate in voting when voting will be done on any bill. But assume a situation where voting will be done and there is a tie situation, okay, tie situation, like 50% persons are in favor of this bill and 50% person are in against of this bill, means 50% MPs, persons means persons of Lok Sabha means that is an MP, of course. So 50% MPs, separate, take it separately. If you are taking it example with Lok Sabha, then take it only Lok Sabha. Assume a bill is tabled in Lok Sabha, discuss debates going on. After the whole things, there is a time of voting, and during the voting, 50% member of parliament will against that bill and 50% member of parliament will not against that bill. That means that they are favoring the bill. If that kind of situation arises, then there will be a tie, definitely tie. So in that situation, that bill will not be passed and even not be lapsed. So at that time, now the role of a speaker of Lok Sabha, since I am talking here the examples of Lok Sabha, that is why I am picking the speaker of Lok Sabha, presiding officer of Lok Sabha only. In that situation, again voting will be done, again voting will be conducted, and in second instance of voting, that is first instance, and the result is tie. If the result is tie, then second instance voting will happen, and in the second instance, now a speaker will able to cast his vote or her vote. Okay, that is also known as casting of vote, casting vote. The same situation is for Rajya Sabha too, the same things. Okay, so I am moving to the next one. I have repeated it, I hope almost 3 times. This is the same thing. I don't think so there will be any confusion in it. Now voting procedure in the Lok Sabha. What is the voting procedures? How voting was conducted? How voting is conducted in Lok Sabha? Let's see. After the conclusion of any debate, as all of you know that, when, like I am giving the examples, okay, with examples you can get it easily. See, in 2020, Farm Bill has been passed. So what has been done, that first of all, Farm Bill will present in any of the house, either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, fine. So after passing the bill, since here I am talking about Lok Sabha, procedure is almost same for the Rajya Sabha too. So if you are getting the whole things about Lok Sabha, automatically you will cover the Rajya Sabha too. So whenever any bill, if wants to become an act, then that bill will be tabled in either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. So here I am talking the example of Lok Sabha. So suppose farm bills has been presented in Lok Sabha. Okay. After presenting the Lok Sabha, each members of parliament of Lok Sabha will get the copy of that bill, and all the members of parliament will read the whole things, and they give few suggestions to who have tabled this bill. If there is farm bill, then definitely agriculture minister or ministry related to agriculture will present this bill in Lok Sabha. This is for sure. So all the MPs who have got the copy of that bill, they will automatically give some suggestions, because there are so many MPs, they have their own opinions, thoughts, beliefs and other things too. So it, of course, there will be some recommendations on that bill. Okay, some MPs will also say that please remove some things from this portion from that bill, because this will not going to help the farmers. This is happening, this is happened. Okay, so after that suggestion, recommendations, now debate and discussion will going on. There will be a time fixed for debate and discussion, like 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, anything as wished by the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Okay, because I am talking the example of Lok Sabha, since I am giving you the whole things about the example of Lok Sabha only. Okay, so let's see. When the debate and discussion will be over, debate and discussion will be over, then it's time for voting. Okay, then it's time for voting. So let's see. After the conclusion of any debate, conclusion means the full recommendations, suggestions, debate, discussions has been over. Now the conclusion has been finalized. This is the conclusion of that bill, and now on this conclusion the voting will be conducted. Okay. So let's see. After the conclusion of any debate, the speaker will put the question, and put the question with house who are in favor and against of the motion. It means, let's see, after the final conclusion about the bill, about the whole discussion debate going on, and after the full things over, then after the final conclusion the voting will be conducted. Now there is the most important role of a speaker of Lok Sabha comes in action. Now a speaker will say that the MPs who are in favor of this bill says yes, and the MPs who are against of this bill says no. Okay, says no. A speaker will say the said statement. Okay, so those MPs who will in favor of that farm bill will say yes, and those MPs who will against that farm bill will say no. No. Okay, I hope till now all of you are getting it clearly. Fine. Now see what happens next after that one. So moving to the next slide. Now see, in the opinion of the speaker not being challenged, he will say to yes or no. Read it again. Okay, carefully. In the opinion of the speaker of Lok Sabha not being challenged, he will say to yes or no. So see here. See, when the speaker has said that if you are in favor of this bill, farm bill, then say yes, and if you are against that bill, then say no. If some MPs say yes, some MPs say no. Okay, and after that, if any of the MP, either from yes one or no one, any of the MP from the Parliament of India, that is now I am talking about Lok Sabha, any of the MP of Lok Sabha will say that I want that there should be a voting, not saying by yes or no, there should be a voting for the finalization of this bill to become an act. There should be voting, not by only a voice voting, like a speaker feels if there is a heavy voice for yes, then yes, this farm bill is passed, or there is a heavy voice for no, then no, this farm bill is not going to be passed. So if any MP of Lok Sabha will challenge, suppose a situation where like happens in farm bill was passed from Lok Sabha. So what a speaker feels at that time? A speaker, if he feels that most MPs are saying, majority of the MPs are saying yes, then if a speaker says it is seen that people are in favor of this bill, so during that if any of the MP of Parliament, either from any of the party, okay, if any MP of the Lok Sabha will stand and say that I am against this one and I want that there should be a voting, not by voice voting, but there should be a proper voting for the conclusion of this bill, then what will happen? Then move to the next slide. Till here all of you know it. Okay, I hope so. See, if the decision of a speaker is being challenged right now, what I have told you, that is challenged. So a speaker will order that the lobby be cleared. Now what is lobby? All of you know that there is a parliament. I have almost saying that many of you, I hope so that many of you know about the Parliament House. So you can see that a speaker sits and in front of them there is a lobby. Okay, lobby. So if anyone is challenged, in just 1 minute, understand it properly. If any bill present in the Lok Sabha, voting has been going on, if a speaker feels that people are favoring in yes, and a speaker says that it seems that people are favoring in this bill, and if any of the MP said that no, I am not of a stand with this part, please there should be a voting, proper voting, not by voice voting, then there is a challenge against the decision of a speaker, challenged by any of the MP of Lok Sabha. Then in that situation, a speaker will say that please clear the lobby, means no any MP should be present in that lobby. Okay, all should sit in the proper way, proper manner. Only when we can move further. That is the same thing. Not only that, even if any bill present in Lok Sabha and voting is going on, and if a speaker feels that most of the MPs are against this bill, and in that situation, if any of the MP of the Lok Sabha stand up and say that no, this should not be done and we want proper voting, not by voice voting, then also it will be cleared for lobby. First of all, clear the lobby so that the proceedings of the house can be conducted in a good way, okay, in a healthy environment. So till now all of you are getting it properly. I am moving the gradually, okay, I am moving gradual one, that's why you can get it the whole things easily, and I am repeating from initial to till the present slides. So next move slides please. See, if the 3 minutes and 30 seconds, there is a time of 3 minutes and 30 seconds, time lapse means times over, the time of 3 minutes 30 seconds time over, if then a speaker will put the question second time, okay, a speaker will put the question on second time. What happens, let's see here. After clearing the lobby, if any MP wants that there should be a proper voting, then a speaker can't deny that, a speaker have to conduct a proper voting system. If any of the MP of Lok Sabha stand up and said that please do a proper voting on it, okay, not by voice voting, any of the MP of Lok Sabha said to the speaker, then a speaker has to accept his opinion. A speaker can't decline that opinion. It is the right of all the MPs of Lok Sabha and all the MPs of Raj Sabha too. Okay. So after clearing the lobby, if the environment is healthy in Lok Sabha, then again the voting will be done not by voice voting, but voting in a proper way, that he is in favor of this one, he is in favor of this one, individually, one by one. Okay. Now see a situation where a speaker said that now voting will be a start. Okay, now voting will be a start by voice voting. Those who are in favor of yes say yes. First of all, let us state it again. After anyone challenged, any MP challenged the decision of the speaker, then a speaker have to conduct a proper election. Now that election will be conducted properly by each and every individual. So that will definitely give the result. But now comes to the initial point. If any bill was present after the debate and discussion will over, there will be a voting conducted for that bill to become an act by the Lok Sabha. Then when a speaker says that, first time, in first instance, when a speaker says that those who are in favor of this bill says yes and those who are in against of this bill says no. If a speaker feels that more MPs or few MPs are not participating in it, then, and by saying that it's 3 minutes 30 seconds, 3 minutes 30 seconds time is over, and a speaker is confusing that the voice is almost same, yes to and no to. So there is a confusion. Are you getting it or not? It may possible that almost 45% people are in one side and 55% people are in other side. So how will you decide by voice voting? Voice voting will give the result only when most of the peoples either in favor of that bill or most of the people are or against in that bill. That is the situation. If a speaker is confusing in it that which voice is louding more and which positions either in favor or in against is more, then in that time a speaker will wait for 3 minutes 30 seconds. If during 3 minutes 30 seconds time a speaker can't finalize the decision, then what happen? A speaker will put the question second time. A speaker will again say, in second time too, a speaker will again say that those who are in favor of this bill says yes and those who are in against that bill says no. Then, and declared whether in his opinion the yes or no. If now a speaker feels that yes, majority people are in favor of this bill, then he will say that it seems to be the majority people are supporting this bill. Okay. And if the speaker feels that majority of the people are against that bill, then a speaker will say that it seems that majority of the MPs are against that bill. Okay. So now a speaker will, if a speaker feels that majority of the people are favoring it, then a speaker is going to pass that bill, and a speaker feels that majority of the MPs are against it, then this bill will not be passed, announced that this bill is not going to be passed by Lok Sabha because majority of the people are against of it. But when before the taking of decision, now comes the same thing. If a speaker is going to take the decision after the voice voting of second time too, or either in the first time or second time too, if any of the MP again stand up and say that no, we are not satisfying it with, there should be a proper voting system. Okay, then again the voting will be happen. A speaker can decline that. Voting will be happen by each and every individual a separate vote. Okay, by taking time. So that is the matter. Okay, fine. So I hope till here all of you are covering it really easily. So I am moving to the next one. See here. If the opinion given by the speaker is challenged, how the opinion given by the speaker is challenged? That any MP of the Lok Sabha, any MP of any party, okay, either it may be possible that any independent MP too. Independent MP means the candidate who has contested the election of Lok Sabha by himself, not by towards any party. Okay, that is independent candidate, independent MP of Lok Sabha. So even that MP too, who is not belonging to any part, it means any MP of the Lok Sabha, if stand up and says that we want that, and personally I want that there should be a proper voting on this bill, then that is called challenge of the decision of the Speaker of Lok Sabha. So if the opinion given by the speaker is challenged, again a speaker will direct at the votes will be recorded right now. Again means the second time. Okay, the second time, if the opinion given by the speaker is challenged again, if in the first instance, if the opinion will be challenged, then it is on the speaker that either it will be voting or not. But if again the second time too, if any MP challenge it again, then a speaker have to definitely should be a recorded vote. Recorded vote means by each and every individual by clicking buttons or anything, that is on the House of Lok Sabha, that is on the Speaker of Lok Sabha. I hope during the first instance, if there is any MP challenge that no, there should be proper voting, then if a speaker wants, there will be proper voting, and if a speaker not wants, then a speaker will again proceed the same things, that those who are in favor of this bill says yes, those who are against that bill says no. If again any MP challenge the same thing again, then a speaker have to conduct the vote in a recorded way. Okay, recorded way, not by voice voting. So I hope this is clear to all of you. I hope so. Okay, so till now I have covered many points about how any bill, voting on any bill is conducted in Lok Sabha. The same thing procedures in Rajya Sabha too. If you are getting whole things about Lok Sabha, you are automatically get the whole things about Rajya Sabha too. Okay students, so now move to the next slide. Okay, fine. Here, see a situation. Now I am telling you two interesting things. Okay, two interesting things. As all of you know that I am giving the example. Anyone picking the example? I am giving example. Like, see, like a law minister. Okay, law minister. Right now that is Ravi Shankar Prasad. Okay, Ravi Shankar Prasad, as all of you know. So he is a member of what? Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha? He is a member of Lok Sabha. Since he is a minister, he is right now administrating 3 ministries. Apart from law ministry, he is administrating 2 ministries too, other 2 ministries too. So see a situation. Since he is a member of Lok Sabha only, so can he sit in Rajya Sabha or not? Can this MP of Lok Sabha, who is a minister, okay, who is a minister, I am talking about the person who is a minister. So can that minister can sit in Rajya Sabha too? Yes, that person can sit in Rajya Sabha too. It is upon her wish. It is upon her wish that either this person, this MP should wants to sit in Rajya Sabha or not. But generally they do not sit. They sit only when if there is opposition parties demanding that this minister should present in this house also and give the reply, or if this ministry himself feels that or herself feels that I should clarify some of the doubts, okay, some of the misconceptions related to any bill, okay, so that ministry can even sit in Rajya Sabha too. Now see a situation, assume situation, see, like if taking the, I am just vice versa it, okay, if this person, assume that this person is a member of not Lok Sabha, this member is a person of Rajya Sabha, now assume it, and he is any minister, any of the ministry of central government, then can this person sit in Lok Sabha? Yes, this person can sit in Lok Sabha, but the same thing either for Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, this person can sit in any of the house, but only for whenever there is a requirement they will sit, otherwise they generally do not want to sit, okay, but only can sit, they can take parts in proceedings of the house, they can give their opinion. In other house where he was not a member, they can give their opinion, but whenever there will be voting on any of the bills or anything, in that voting conduction this person will not be able to participate in voting, okay, this person will can take participate in parliamentary form of voting only which house he is belongs to or she belongs to. If he belongs to Rajya Sabha, then this person can sit in Rajya Sabha too, can give their opinions, can take parts in proceedings, but cannot take parts in voting system in Rajya Sabha. The same things for Lok Sabha too. I hope this is clear to all of you. I hope so. Okay. Now again, see here, Ministry and Attorney General of India can take participate in any of the house. The same things for Attorney General of India. I have covered Attorney General of India, so I hope this is known to all of you that if Attorney General of India wants to sit in any of the house, no one is going to stop him. He can sit any of the house. Okay, he can sit, but cannot participate in voting in any of the house. He or she is not a member of any of the house because she or he is not an MP. That is why he can give only opinions. He can keep his talkings, okay, in any of the house, but cannot participate in any of the house because he is not or she is not a member of any of the house. Now just listen the interesting things again. Okay, now tell me, if you do not contest the election of Lok Sabha and if you do not contest the election of Rajya Sabha, you are not a member of parliament, it means you are not a member of Lok Sabha too and you are not a member of Rajya Sabha too, then can you sit in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha? Can you sit in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha? See, if you are not an MP of Lok Sabha, not an MP of Rajya Sabha, you are not an Attorney General of India, two, all things you are not, then even that, can you sit in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha too? Is it possible that you can sit in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha? Yes, it is possible. Even if you have not contested any election, neither of Lok Sabha nor of Rajya Sabha, and even you are not Attorney General of India and even you are not President of India, then even that you can sit in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. How? Let's see. Even a genuine person whose age is more than 25 years, and here is, I think it's 30 years. If I am wrong, then please correct me. Okay. So if any person any Indian citizen who is above 25 years, they are not any MP, he is not any MP of either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, not President of India, not Attorney General of India, then if Prime Minister wants, then this person can sit in Lok Sabha or even in Rajya Sabha. How? Let's see. Anyone can become minister, anyone can become central minister without being member of parliament. Anyone can become. The simple example is that if your age is minimum 25 years, if your age is minimum 25 years, okay, and here is minimum 30 years. So if your age is minimum 25 years and Prime Minister, you are not MP, okay, not MP, not AGI, not President, and if Prime Minister wants that you should be a minister, then Prime Minister will appoint you as a minister. Okay, Prime Minister will say to the President, then please appoint this person as minister. Then President will appoint that person as minister. So now since he is a minister, that person is a minister, not any MP, not AGI, not President of India, but because he can become minister without being a member of parliament, he or she can become a minister. So I have already told you them that any minister who is a central minister can sit in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha too. Now, is it possible to sit that member in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha? Yes, it of course that member can sit in Lok Sabha too and in Rajya Sabha too. That is possible. Okay, that is possible. How? Because Prime Minister have give suggestions to President that appoint this person as a minister. He is not an MP, not an MP. Okay. But yet, please make him, appoint him as minister. President will definitely appoint it, that because President will have to accept the recommendations and suggestions of Prime Minister of India. But there is a condition. That person can sit in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha or being a minister only for 6 months. Without being a member of parliament of any of the house, any person can continue his ministry, central ministry, for maximum of 6 months. If that person wants to increase their term for more than 6 months, then that person has to become a contest the election of either Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha and become a member of parliament of either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Then only that person will continue his ministry for more than 6 months. I hope till now of you are getting it. Okay. Now I am telling also an interesting thing that will be not written in any books, but you should know about it. Okay. See, there is a minimum 30 years age required to be a member of Parliament of Rajya Sabha. Now tell me, any person whose age is less than 30 years and above than 25 years, any person of India, any Indian citizen whose age is minimum 25 years and not but less than 30 years. Age is minimum 25 years of age and but less than 30 years of age, less than 30. But then that person can sit in Rajya Sabha or not? Yes, that person can sit. How? Let's see. As all of you know that minimum 30 years age required to become a member of Parliament of Rajya Sabha, so only those MPs can sit in Rajya Sabha whose age is 30 years. But if you are a 26 years Indian citizens, you can sit in Rajya Sabha. You can sit in Rajya Sabha. Okay. You can break this barricading of age barrier of 30 years minimum age. See how? If you are an Indian citizen, you are 26 years of age, so automatically you are going to qualify to be a member of Parliament of Lok Sabha, because here is minimum requirement for only 25 years. And if President of India will appoint you as a central minister on the suggestions and recommendations of Prime Minister, then this person will become a minister. Okay. Minister, central minister. Okay. And this person is a member of Parliament of Lok Sabha right now? Right now or not? Not at all. Because till now he has not contested the election. Okay. If he is already a member of Parliament of Lok Sabha, he can automatically sit in Rajya Sabha too. But anyone whose age is only 26 years, and if Prime Minister wants that person should become minister, so he will suggest and call the President that please appoint this person as minister, this ministry. President will appoint that. So now that 26-year person will become minister. only minister. Right now he is or she is not a member of parliament of any of the house, only a minister. He can continue his ministry for 6 months without being a member of parliament of any of the house. Okay. So then if he is a minister, then I have already told you that any minister, central minister can sit in, has the right to sit in any of the house. Then automatically this 26-year person will be able to sit in Rajya Sabha too. They can sit in Lok Sabha, but they can sit in Rajya Sabha too. So you can see that the age barrier limit of Rajya Sabha, minimum age barrier limit, that is 30 years of age, is breaking here. Is it or not? Yes, it is. But if, I am repeating it again, that if this person wants to continue his ministry further ahead of 6 months, then he or she must have to contest the election of either Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha to continue his ministry. Otherwise, he will be terminated of his ministry after 6 months. So I hope this is clear to all of you. This is the 2 points which is necessary to tell all of you. Okay. So moving to the next one. See here. Language in the parliament. See, the proceedings of the house. Proceedings of the house means I am not talking about any individual member of parliament. Okay, proceedings of the house means that a speaker is saying something. Okay, a speaker is saying something, that please maintain the house, please stand, taking any person name, stand and ask your questions, please reply, taking any ministry name and please reply to that question. The full proceedings of the house can take place only in 2 languages, that is Hindi, our mother tongue, and English. Beside that, no language is permitted for the proceedings of the house. But if, here is exception, but if any member of the parliament wants personally and individually, I am not talking about the whole proceedings, if any member of the parliament wants that he is not comfortable in Hindi and English, or he feels that he should speak in his local language too, then he has to or she has to take permission from a speaker of the Lok Sabha, or in case of Rajya Sabha, he has to take the permission or she has to take the permission of chairman of Rajya Sabha. If chairman of Rajya Sabha permits that, and in case of Lok Sabha, if a speaker of Lok Sabha permits that, guarantees that, then that MP can speak in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha in their local language, as the language which has been given permission by the speaker of Lok Sabha, and in case of Rajya Sabha, the permission is given by the chairman of Rajya Sabha. It is done because, see, whenever you travel south like Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, or anything like Karnataka, okay, any regions that their language is totally separate, then they feel automatically they will feel more comfortable in their own language. Okay, so how those MPs will keep their position in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha with proper way? If they are going to allow to speak in their own language, only then they can pick up the matter of people of that region and can put that issue, their problems in parliament. So it is because of that this exception has been given. Not only for this reason, I am just giving an example. Okay, if you are, even if you are a person of anything, if you are a person of Maharashtra, you can speak in parliament in Marathi too. You can speak it. Okay, it is just an example. This is for all of the states of India. Okay, if a MP who belongs to a Kannada language, that is Karnataka region, and he feels comfortable more in English, he feels that I will keep my talkings more comfortably in English and I will understand my whole things and I will try to make understandable to all of the MPs of Lok Sabha in English language, then he can use English too. Okay, if he wants to use Kannada, he can or she can use Kannada too, Kannada language too, but only when guaranteeing and accepting the permission of the speaker of Lok Sabha, or in case of Rajya Sabha, the exception of the permission of chairman of Rajya Sabha must be permitted. Okay, fine. So I hope regarding the language system in parliamentary function of India, there is all things is clear to all about you. However, there is some facts related to, Okay, no, move to the next slide. There is some facts related to the language, but those facts is not going to be asked by UPSC at all. You are just wasting your time, and you will waste your time by remembering those simple facts that in 1965 this language was started, this was finished, this was started, this finished. UPSC is not going to ask you that in which year this language was started, in which year this language was started. Not at all. Even if 0.001% chances that UPSC will ask one question in 5 years, out of 100 questions, UPSC is going to ask only one question in whole 5 years of those out of 100 questions. So how is going to waste the time for only that facts and figures? Not at all. Please don't waste the time on those one. UPSC is actually not interesting to asking that question. Okay, they ask only conceptual one. Okay, so please stay on that part out. Now see a new topic, that is lame duck session. Lame duck session, monsoon session, budget session, okay, winter session, all of you are getting it. But what is lame duck season? See, lame duck session means the last session of the existing Lok Sabha. Existing Lok Sabha means general election has been held in India in 2019. Again this election will be held in 2024 if there will be no any circumstances arise. Okay, if the government will continue his majority, then this election, the next general election will be held in 2024. Automatically, all of you know it. Then the last session of this government, that either it is possible that it will be in last 2023, last months of 2023, or it is most possible that it is the initial month, that is January, February almost in 2024, because election is held in, I think it's last March and April, almost. Okay, so it is more possible that the last session will held of this existing Lok Sabha will be held in February months of 2024. Now see, whenever the last session will be held down, this last session of the existing Lok Sabha will be termed as lame duck session. Lame duck session. See how this lame duck got named. See again. See, there are 543 MPs who won in 2019 general election. Again a fresh election will be held in 2024. Then again 543 MPs will won. So it is possible that those MPs who have won in 2019, it is possible that most of the MPs or few of the MPs or even any one MP too will not be able to win that election. Okay, it is happening. It is never happened in Indian parliamentary function that, okay, in previous general election all the candidates who have won, in the next general election the same candidates have won. It is never happened. Okay, it is possible, but it has never happened and it will never happen, you can say it too. So those MPs who have won the previous general election but they are not able to win this general election, those MPs are called as lame ducks, who were able to win the last general election, that is the existing one, but who will be not able to win the election of member of parliament of Lok Sabha in the new fresh Lok Sabha election. So for those MPs who will not be able to win in new Lok Sabha election, that MP will called as lame duck. That is why this session is termed as lame duck session, because for those MPs this is the last session. Those MPs, these are the last session. For those MPs who will win again, they will again, for those, this is not the last session because they will again sit in the Lok Sabha, in a new Lok Sabha house. So these are the not lame ducks. Lame ducks are only those who have only last session of this parliament, who are attending last session of this parliament. For those, they are called lame ducks. That is why that a special session is called as lame duck session. So if any other slide remaining, move. Yes, it will take almost 15 minutes time again. Okay, so now let's see, there are few hours in the house. The first one is question hour. These 2 hours, first one is question hour and second one will be 0 hour. These are the two main important pillars of Indian democracy system. Okay, if these two provisions, question hour and 0 hour, will be removed from the parliamentary function procedures, then the democracy of India will definitely falls down. Okay, falls down definitely. How? See, whenever the proceedings of the Lok Sabha or even the Raj Sabha, I am talking here for both, proceedings start, then the first debate and discussion will be on question hour. Question hour. Okay. The first hour of every parliamentary sitting. Okay, the first hour, whenever the proceeding starts of either Lok Sabha or Raj Sabha, the first hour is question hour. What happens in question hour? The members ask questions. Any member of the parliament can ask the questions to whom? To the ministers. Okay, to ministers generally. Because if anyone, if you are an MP and you are not a minister, okay, so how you will going to reply on any of the issue? It is almost negligible chances that you are going to reply on this issue, that is law issue, form issue, even foreign issue, okay, even finance issue, defense issue, any of the issue. If this person is not handling this ministry, how this member of parliament, even that is a member of parliament of ruling party, if any of the MP of opposition party ask the question to the MP of ruling party who is not a minister, then it is very negligible chance then this person will reply properly. Okay, because this MP is not handling the ministry. So generally this member, opposition party's member, not ask the question to those MPs who are not ministry. Generally these members, the simple thing is that any member of the parliament for both Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha can ask any question to any minister, okay, even to any member too, but generally ask the ministers. Why? I have told you. Okay, generally ask the ministers. Okay, and generally they have give answers to. Generally their answers to. Ministers have to give answers. Okay. Question hour means first proceedings start. Any member ask question to any ministry. Okay. The matter related with that ministry, that member, any member will ask that question to ministry, and ministry generally answers. Generally give answers. Okay. If that ministry wants that and says that I will give this answer after few times or after few moments, then he can do so. Okay, but generally they give answers. So moving to the next slide, and we will give some details more about question hour. See, the questions during the question hour of three kinds. There are three kinds of questions that is generally asked during the question hours. Okay, there are three kinds of questions that is generally asked during the question hours. The first type is that a state question. Second is that unstate question. The third was that short notice question. First one is that a state question, second one is that unstate question, third one is that short notice question. So question may come that a state question is a part of 0 hour session. Then that statement is correct or incorrect? Incorrect, because these three types of questions will be asked only in the question hour. So now we will see one by one all these three types of questions. So we are moving to the next one. Okay, and we will see about a state question. A state question during question hour of the house. That is for both Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha too. So let's see what is a state question. A state question requires an oral answer, therefore supplementary question can follow. It means, now see what this point say. See, as all of you know that during question hour, see here clearly, you will get the whole things about this point. See clearly, in just 3 minutes or 2 minutes I will clarify the whole thing. See, any member, any MP will ask the question to ministry. Okay, ministry, fine. Now that ministry generally answer the questions. Okay, generally answer the questions, generally give answers the questions. Now there are three types of questions. Okay, if the answer will be, if there is a state question, if there is a state question, okay, then ministry will not give written reply, ministry will give oral reply. That ministry will give oral reply. Oral reply means, I hope all of you are getting it. It doesn't need to elaborate oral reply and what is written reply. Okay, so ministry will give oral reply. Okay, therefore supplementary questions can follow. What is supplementary questions? Suppose let's say if any of the opposition parties ask to the agriculture ministry of agriculture that you have made this farm laws and this is the provision which will harm the farmers, which will definitely going to harm the income of farmers. Okay, now Ministry of Agriculture will stand up and reply. If that is a state question, then Ministry of Agriculture will stand up and reply that no, this is not harming or anything. So whatever the reply will be. Okay, so if they have given the reply, then can again that MP is able to again any question on the same matter at the same time. Yes, if there is a stayed type of question during the question hour. Listen my words carefully, the whole statements. If there is a stayed type of questions during the question hour, then there will be definitely the oral answers, not the written answers given by the minister to the members who have asked the question. And not only that, after giving the reply, oral reply by the minister to that member who have asked the questions, that member who have asked the questions who has also the right to ask the any questions again on the same matter at the same moment to the same ministry. That is called as supplementary question. That now I will again ask 1, 2, 3 any number of questions again related to the same things. That is supplementary questions. Okay, so I hope this is clear to all of you. So I am moving to the next one, that will unstayed type of question during question hour. So see it, unstayed questions required a written answer. A stayed question required oral answer, but unstayed type of questions requires definitely written answer. Ministry can't give reply orally. Ministry have to give reply in written form. Okay, this is more authentic. Okay, this is more authentic. Therefore, supplementary question cannot follow. If ministry has given written reply, then definitely that will be a type of question of unstayed question type. If there is unstayed type of question during asking in question hour, then ministry must will give reply in written form. Okay, and now no supplementary question can be asked. Say supplementary questions can be asked. Supplementary question can be asked only when the answer will in oral form. Supplementary questions will not be permitted when the answers given by the ministry in written form. Fine. I hope this is clear to all of you. Okay, so it's time. So let's see it. Okay, again next one, that is short notice question. Now see it, supplementary question. I hope all of you get it. For supplementary question, now again in 1 minute I am telling, because if you are not getting about supplementary question, you are not getting about these whole points. Okay, so see, if any MP asked agriculture minister that you have made this formulas and this is the point which is harming the income of the farmers. Okay, which is devastating for the farmers, then definitely there will be some, if there is a stayed type of question. Listen, a stayed, if there is a stayed, there will be reply of oral form. Okay, reply will be oral form. Then definitely agriculture minister will reply something in orally. Fine, orally they will definitely reply. Now after giving reply, if that MP is satisfied with his reply, that MP will not ask any questions. It is genuine. If you are satisfying with any other answers, any other reply, then you will not ask another question. But if that MP is not satisfied with the answers of that ministry, that MP has the right, if that MP has the right to ask any question on the same matter again to the same ministry at the same moment, then that is termed as supplementary questions. Okay, so in a stayed type of question during question hour, okay, supplementary questions allowed, and the answers given will be the minister to the that MP will be orally, not written. So again, if the answer will be oral, then supplementary questions will be allowed. Supplementary question will be asked by whom? To member of parliament who have asking the question to the ministry. If the answer will be written, then supplementary question will not be permitted. Fine. So now let's see short notice question. Short notice question is asked by giving a notice of less than 10 days and requires oral answers. It means if you have any questions, then you will give a notice to any ministry. If you are an MP, and you want to ask short notice question during, that is permitted during the question hour. These are state type of question, unstate type of question and short notice question. These all are allowed for both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but during the question hour only. Okay. Listen my each and every sentence really carefully. Okay. So if you are an MP and you want to ask a state question, then I have clarified the whole things about a state question. If that MP wants a question to ask that question of unstate type, want that the reply should be in written form, then that MP will ask unstate type of question. Unstate type of question is that question will not decide, type of question will not decide that this question is a state or not. It is upon the MP. It is upon the MP who is asking the question, that this MP wants the reply in which form, either in oral form, written form, or in this form that I will cover right now. So on this wish of that MP who is asking question, now this type of question is decided. If this MP wants that oral reply, then it will be termed as a state type question. If written reply wants by that MP who is asking the question, that question will be termed as unstate type. Okay, fine. So it is possible that any question asked by any MP 1 month earlier to any ministry related to that ministry will be a state question, because that MP who is asking the question 1 month earlier wants that their answer should given as orally. And if possible that after 1 month, if any other MP repeated the same questions to the same ministry, then and wants the answer in written form, then the answers of that question will be given by the ministry in written form. So answers will be given in oral and written for one question itself, for the question that is same itself. So it is not the question, type of question who is deciding that it is which type of question. No, it is upon a member of parliament who is asking the question and who want that either its reply should be in oral or in written or in this way. If now talk about short notice question, I am making each and everything so simple, okay, according to me, that you can get the whole things really easily. So now short notice means if you are an MP, now let's see understand it. Okay, understand it properly. See, if you are an MP, if you are a member of parliament of even Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, anyone, okay, you can take examples of respective houses. So if you are an MP and you want that I want oral answers, okay, I want oral answers, but not a state type, not a state type, I want short notice question type, So a notice will be given to that ministry whom this MP wants to ask this question of short notice question type. So a notice will be given and under 10 days, okay, if it is asked by giving a notice of less than 10 days, okay, maximum 9 days notice will be given, to that which ministry to give reply, okay, give reply. After 9 days he had to give reply, okay, at any cost, but in oral form, oral answers, okay. Since here is oral answers, supplementary question can be allowed. Okay, fine. So I hope it is clear to all of you. But generally, if any MP wants to ask supplementary questions, they generally ask a state type of question, non short notice type question. Short notice type question generally not in train at all, because it covers lot more time and the process is almost same as a state types. Okay, so it's moreover a state type is heavy over short notice questions. Fine. So I hope this is clear to all of you. So now we will move to other slides that will be say that all the three type of questions can also be asked to a private member, can also be asked to private member if that member is somehow connected with that. I have already told you. Private member, who is a private member? Any member, private member, who is a private member? Any member of the house who is not a minister, who is not a minister is called as private member. But generally all the ministers are of which party? Which party is in the government? It's simple. Okay, whichever party is in the government, all the ministers will belong to his party. Okay. So if you are in a position, okay, if you are in a position, so why anyone will ask the question to opposition parties? Anyone will ask the questions only to the ruling party's MPs, of course. Okay. So private members are those members who are not ministers, okay, who are not ministers. Fine. So let's see. If anyone wants to ask question from that private member too, he has to give the answers. If that private member is anyhow related with that ministry, okay, that ministry anyhow related, okay, anyhow related, if that private member is related with that ministry, then anyone can ask the question of all those three types of question during question hour from that private member too. That private member is also generally, of course, it is belongs to the ruling government. It is never mentioned, and it is nowhere mentioned that all the ministers should be belongs to the ruling party itself. But tell me, which government will make any minister of the person who is belongs to the opposition party? Not at all. Okay. So I hope this is clear to all of you. I have already told you that all the three questions can even asked by other members too, but generally asked to the ministers, because ministers have the proper knowledge of that particular matter. So all the members of parliament who is not a minister is termed as a private member. Okay. So even the MPs of opposition parties will considered as private member, not because they are also not under any ministry, because they are in opposition party, so they are also private member. There is also private member. Private members are not only those who belongs to the ruling government and not a ministry, but private members are also those who are in opposition parties. Private members means any MP who is not a minister. Any MP is not a minister. This is a separate matter, that his party is in the government, ruling government, or in opposition. That is a separate matter. Okay. So I hope this is clear to all of you. So I am moving to the next one. See, 0 hour. After question hour, okay, it is 0 hour. Now listen. 0 hour is not mentioned in the rule of procedures. Rule of procedures of parliament. Question hour is mentioned in rules of procedures of parliament. There are certain rules of procedures mentioned in the procedures of, in the proper functioning of parliament. In that proceeding rules, there is description detailed given and written about question hours, but nothing written about 0 hour. But since 0 hour becomes so important in Indian parliamentary democracy form that it is continuing till now. Now let's see what happens in 0 hour. 0 hour is not mentioned in the rules of procedure. I have already told you. That is by members of the parliament candidate age matters without any prior notice during 0 hours. Now let's see. That is members of the parliament candidate matters without any prior notice during 0 hour. See, you can ask any questions. You can ask any questions without giving any notice. Okay, you can just stand, take the permission of a speaker and or chairman, and you can ask the question that belongs to Ministry of ruling party. Fine. So I hope this is about 0 hour. I am moving to the next slide that can tell you something extra about 0 hour. See, 0 hour starts immediately after the question hour ends. First of all, question hour will start at which time frame where parliament, house of parliament proceeding start. From there itself question hour start from the first hour of the parliament. After the question hour will be finished, now which will start? Now 0 hour. Now 0 hour start, and 0 hour will run till the time whenever agenda of the house of that day will not start. Agenda of the house means house has conduct certain rules and regulations. Okay, there are certain per day agenda set up by the parliament. Okay, that today there will be debate and discussion on this agenda, this matter. There will be voting, discussion, anything on this matter. So that is the agenda of the house for that day. So first question hour will happen. After just ending of question hour, 0 hour will happen. Till that time, whenever agenda of the house will not started. Okay, so 0 hour. Agenda of the day, that is the regular business of the house. This is the same one. Actually, this agenda is the regular business of the house. This is the main business of the house. That what is today's agenda of the house. Okay, on which topic we are going to voting, we are going to debate, discussions. Okay, so that is the real agenda. That is the regular procedures of the house. Okay, and this is the common one, question hour, 0 hour, anything. So now moving to the next one. I hope it can tell something extra else. Yes, 0 hour is an Indian innovation. Okay, it is just an Indian innovation. It has been not taken from like USA constitution or British constitution, Irish constitution or anyone. Okay, or Canadian constitution or German constitution. Not. 0 hour is an Indian innovation itself. Okay, in the section of parliamentary progress, 0 hour has been in existence since 1962 till now. Okay, before 1962, 0 hour was not functioning in India parliamentary system. But from 1962, it was initiated, and since it has become so popular for the opposition parties that this is continuing till now. And what's your opinion about 0 hour? You must give your opinion, because see, during 2020 monsoon session, the ruling government of our nation has said that we are suspending question hour and 0 hour in this monsoon session. Okay, so in that session, that monsoon session of 2020, no any MP or of opposition party, any opposition party was able to ask any kinds of question to the government. So how, see how this is important too, that even your representatives is not allowed to ask the question to the government. Okay, so see how this one is important. This happens in 2020. That is very discussed. Okay, that is discussed a lot, that this should be done, this should not be done, because if question hour and 0 hour will be removed from any of the session of the house, then I think there is only a 5% to 6% only a mean of the house. Okay, otherwise question hour and 0 hour is the most important proceedings of the house. After passing the bill, this is the most important function, question hour and 0 hour in our parliamentary function system. So what do you think about postponement of 0 hour and question hour in monsoon session of 2020? What do you think? You can give analysis to yourself. If any other slides remain, I want to explain it. No students. So I hope today I have covered all the aspects, really handful. Okay, so we will meet tomorrow, and again we will continue the same thing, that is Parliament of India. Okay, so thank you students, thank you so much. We will meet tomorrow again.